right, welcome. I am Brother Juan. I am a certified Christian business coach and consultant, tax strategist for entrepreneurs, and a strategic partner to help you build synergy in your business with bookkeeping. I empower Christian entrepreneurs online, I call them CEOs, to pursue their purpose, monetize their passion, and plan their profits. So, good afternoon to most of you, or I should say, good morning to some of you, depending on where you are tuning in the country. Time kind of slipped right by me, and I forgot. I got lost track of the time, so I'm a few minutes late getting started with this particular broadcast, and I was going to turn on my lamps behind me, but I just realized that somehow the plug came out. So, I can't highlight my plant behind me and my tax clock that sits right behind my head there. So, nevertheless, good day. Where are you tuning in from? Let me know. Also, we're going to talk about scams, which seem to be very popular online this year. Probably, maybe I'm just seeing more things than I normally do, but the scams are always there. Scams with tax preparation. We'll talk about that. And if you have any questions outside of that, drop them in the chat, and I'll definitely take some questions and look at those later on. And if you are watching this later, feel free to type a question in the chat, and I will get that alert. And so, that may be a good reason for me to do another live. So let me find my notes. Okay, so uh, yeah, e-file season starts technically the 23rd, which is next Monday this week. I can't remember what days this week. The IRS does some testing where they let a few returns into the pipeline so they can test the system and hopefully make adjustments if they need to before Monday. So with a lot of tax professionals, you can go ahead and submit your return, but it won't actually be, it's like the IRS has a gate that it opens when it's time to officially, but you can submit it and it stays in the queue until those gates are open. So we want to talk about some scams. I've been seeing a lot of stuff, but I just want to just give an overview, not really look at anything in particular, but just give an overview. So with filing taxes, you are giving whoever you file taxes with, whether we're talking about an individual or even the software that you use if you do it yourself, you are providing personal identifying information, right? Your name, your date of birth, your social security number, your address, and these are all things that, if placed in the wrong hands, will cause your identity to be stolen. Your identity can be easily stolen as the process of tax preparation comes up, right? So again, whether you're using a professional tax preparer or whether you do it yourself software, you're giving that software company that information. And what was that? Just towards the end of last year, um, you know, with websites, you have Google Analytics, you have Facebook Pixels, and they share information with your website and Facebook for marketing. And so some of the do-it-yourself, which also have offices, I'm not going to name any name, had an instance where they was relaying some of that personal identifying information of taxpayers, using those pixels and whatnot. So something you probably didn't even hear on the news, but I get a lot of weird news articles pop up, I guess, because I have a lot of weird stuff going on. But you give a lot of personal identifying information. So one of the biggest things are, the Houdini tax preparers, right? They're here and then poof, they disappear. They're gone, right? So you have to be careful. One of the things that they do is want to charge you an upfront fee. Now, professional tax preparation, um, if you have been in this industry a while, you've heard of ghost tax preparers, right? But some clients can ghost you as well after you've done the work. So what a lot of us do in the industry is charge a retainer fee up front. It may be $100, it may be 50% of the expected return. We do this as professionals, so that you have some skin in the game, because we've encountered instances where we prepared a tax return for somebody and then they ghost us because they don't like the numbers. And so I've wasted my time and I don't have any compensation. So that does happen. So, but you have to be careful for those that are here today, gone tomorrow, charge you that upfront fee, and then they just disappear. They don't even do the work. That happens in tax preparation. I've encountered clients come to me because it's happened even in website uh, design and management services. Another instance is, they'll promise you that they've identified, valuable deductions and credits, and it results in a big refund. And they do scrupulous things, fraudulent things in your name, and submit the return to the IRS. And then when you start receiving notifications from the IRS because all these red flags and questions come up, they're nowhere to be found. They here today, gone tomorrow. They disappear. Another thing you have to be aware of are pop-up shops. These may be physical locations that pop up in your neighborhood or in your area during tax season, and then after tax season, they're gone and you never see them again, right? Another with the Houdini that you have to be aware of is an offer where they don't charge you upfront fee, they take it on the back end. But what they do, they want you to put their bank account information in. Your refund comes to their account, and then they promise to take their fees and give you the rest. And then they actually disappear. Now, this is not the same thing as the refund transfers. Refund transfers are done through banks, right? It's not done through the individual, it's done through banks. My account, it goes through a temporary account with the bank where they take their fees, they send me my fees, and they send you the refund. And I have nothing to do with that process from, the IRS issuing the refund. If you have other things going on and the IRS holds some of that money to pay for, child support, other things, and they don't issue all of the refund, you are at the bottom end, and the tax preparer who uses refund transfers and stuff like that, we're just above you. So if you don't get all your money there, it could be a possibility we may not see all of ours either, but you are still responsible for it. So some of the red flags to look for with professional tax preparation: never sign a blank tax form. Never sign a blank tax form. You want to make sure that everything's filled out. You want to make sure that that tax preparer has signed the return as well. Even if it's electronic, it should be in there. Our system, we sign in the system, and it automatically places it on the return before we even send it to you. So that gives you also the ability to ask questions, because a lot of my clients, I have to force them to sit down and go over the numbers for their return, because that level of trust that they have in me. But I don't want them to trust me that much. Not that I would do anything. I just want to, educate them as far as the process, and if anything comes up in the future and they're using somebody else, then they may have questions. All right. And so you want to definitely ask questions about the return, but about what you don't understand, and that tax professional should be able to explain it to you. All right. So you want to, again, make sure the tax preparer signs the return in order to provide tax services for compensation, for a fee. We have to register with the IRS, and we receive a preparer tax identification number, often simply referred to as a PETN. So with tax professionals, this is not even in my note, the IRS does not certify tax professionals. So there is, it's actually against the regulations, Circular 230, that we have to go by as professional tax preparers. It's actually written in there that we cannot use the term certified tax professional. Now, that certification may come from the company, but we cannot advertise ourselves as certified tax professionals. That includes CPAs, attorneys, enrolled agents, and then non-credentialed tax preparers. None of us should be using that. And so that's a red flag. Maybe that somebody's not necessarily, fraudulent in their activities, but they may be a novice in the industry, not being aware that they can't use that. But we can use registered taxpayers because we do have to register. And as a course of that, we receive our PETN that we place on your return along with our signature. Okay. You also want to understand how you're getting your refund. So one of the things you want to be clear about when you sign a return is to verify your bank account information, because once the return is e-filed and sent in and your bank information is incorrect, you will eventually get your money, but eventually could be who knows how long, right? Because once it's issued, to the bank will say this account number don't mean anything, and then they'll send it back to the IRS. And that whole process of waiting for the IRS to eventually send you a check could take a while. So you want to make sure that stuff is correct on the front end. So I like to verify that number, but I am human. I verified, 2 or 3 different times at least, but I am human. So you definitely want to verify that yourself as well when you sign the return. All right. You also want to be clear about how a tax preparer charges their fee before even getting started. One red flag is that they'll promise to give you a big refund. They'll take a percentage of that refund. That's a red flag. That's not the way that we can price. Here with Next Step, our price is based on form and complexity. Form and complexity. So you can have, and not even income, you can have 2 people making the same amount of income, where if one person has 1 W-2, they're going to receive one price. If another person has 10 W-2s, their price is going to be a lot higher, right? The same thing with business owners. Your Schedule C filer, you have your balance sheet, you have your profit and loss statement, and there's a certain price, a starting price. But if I have to sit down and we have to figure out what your expenses, what your income is, and reconstruct your income and expenses for the year, then that's a whole nother price, right? It's going to be a lot more. And then, of course, there's other things that factor in as well. And so when people often call or reach out to me and ask, how much do I charge? Well, that's going to be based upon your particular tax situation, right? Your particular tax situation. And at that point, I have no idea what you have going on. And then even if you tell me, there may be things that come up as a result that could increase the price. And so depending upon, your particular tax situation, I can give you a range and I try to stay within that range. But if something comes up and it's like, it takes it out that range, then, definitely be informed. So I really can't give you a estimate as far as how much it would cost until I see everything and know exactly what I'm dealing with. Because then I can okay, this is going to be that much, this is going to be that much. And depending upon the complexity, there may be other questions. And then again, that price could go up from there. So I can't really give you a price because I don't know your particular tax situation. If you're a current client, you already know what your price is from, our previous experience together. But of course, if things change in your life, it could lower the price, could increase the price. Okay. So let's see. I offer the refund anticipation loans. These are loans that you can get based upon your refund that is anticipated. The particular bank that I work with charges no interest for a certain amount of days on certain amounts, the lower end. The more that you get, depending on how much you get back and what you actually qualify for, the interest rate is high. And I only offer that for those who may need that money. All right. And then the same bank also handles refund transfers, which are our fees associated with that too. And so I make that available, but I don't necessarily push that. And I don't necessarily have a lot of people use that, but it is available as well. You never know. It may be, your particular year where things aren't going well and you can use that money, ahead of time. So, that loan is a possibility that is available there. I'm not a big proponent of it, but somebody who pushes refund anticipation loans on you, and I don't mean just simply offering. I mean, that's what they try to get you to use. Yeah, be wary of that. Okay. Also have to be conscious, even after you file your return, just during this time period, phone calls, text messages, emails of scammers, looking to get your information. Calling on the phone, say, hey, this is the IRS. We got your refund ready. We need to verify a few things, your name, your number, your name, your social security number, your address. Okay, well, you just gave them everything to steal your identity. The IRS will not call you. The IRS will not email you. The IRS will not text you about your tax situation. They will mail you a letter. And that's what you should expect to receive from the IRS. Anything else is probably going to be a scam. Okay. And so if you do have any problems with the tax preparer, you as a consumer can file a complaint. There is a form. You can search for a return prepare complaint form. It is form 14157. Again, 14157, right? And so the last thing, talk a little bit more about ghost preparers. Ghost preparers are somebody who prepares your taxes, but they don't actually sign the return, right? So they'll do your return in more than likely some DIY software. I know which ones people particularly use, but I'm not going to say those names. But they use commercial tax software, not professional tax software, and they file your return, but they don't actually sign it, right? This may be different if you're dealing with like a family member who's helping you, but a stranger who's advertising themselves as a professional tax preparer and they're doing that, you should be aware, and I can't necessarily say just commercial, because some commercial software also has a professional package as well. So just have to be worried about that. And of course, that goes back to, some of the red flags that I first mentioned about signing a return, the PET and all that. So I hope everybody is doing well. I'm not going to keep you on here much longer. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you are a current tax client, feel free to reach out and we can get your portal set up for the season when you are ready to file. If you are looking for professional virtual tax preparation services with Next Step Bookkeeping and Tax, feel free to reach out to us, comment, DM, inbox, visit the website, nextstepbktax.com. Again, nextstepbktax.com. And if you are looking for bookkeeping services as in your entrepreneur, again, that's going to be the first step to securing your financial future within your business, is making sure you are tracking your income and expenses properly. All right. So y'all have a good day. This is Brother Juan. If you need me, feel free to reach out and be blessed.